Hello, my name is Charles Sanders, and I'm a personal injury attorney with the Rose Sanders Law Firm, based in Texas and with offices in Houston, Dallas, McAllen, and El Paso. We assist individuals throughout the entire state who have suffered harm due to the negligence of another person. With my experience as an insurance adjuster, I understand and I know exactly how to counter the strategies employed by insurance companies, and I'm bringing this knowledge to you. We handle a wide variety of situations ranging from car accidents to defamation and unsafe property conditions. We are here to provide support and legal representation at no cost to you. Call us today at 713-221-3773.
Broadcasting live from Houston, from the space city to the world, you are watching NowMedia Television.
Hey, I'm Michael Rager, your business guide, and welcome to Biz Talk TV here on NowMedia Television. I'm telling you, it's going to be a great show today. You know, we get talking as business owners, we got to be able to focus on really what we do. And that's the things we're going to get into today. How do we become productive? How do we focus on these things? It's summertime. How do we have a good time with our families but still get work done? How do we, consciously know what we're supposed to do? And we're going to talk a little politics today as well. So it's very interesting about the things we got to look at as business owners. One of the things we've got to figure out is, who do we do it for? What do we do? Who do we do it for? Why do we do it? And how do we do it? There's the most important things, and the better we get at that, the better we can go ahead and serve our clients, and that's what it's all about, is serving our clients. So I'm Michael Rager. I'm your business guide here on Biz Talk TV. We're going to be back with more, and we're going to have a great show right after this.
Hey, Lily says AT&T's giving everyone their best deals.
Minus the air quotes.
Best deals.
No need to wink. Others say they give everyone a deal, but not everyone gets the best deal.
Told you, the best deals are for everyone here, with a choice of plans.
You were right.
Is she always right?
Always.
At AT&T, we give everyone our best deals on every smartphone.
As a home or business owner, it can be tough to find a painting company that you can rely on. Look no further. Hi, I'm Courtney Hughes, owner of 360 Painting West Houston, your go-to painting company for residential and commercial needs. 360 Painting's mission is simple. We want to provide you with the highest quality finish and the best painting experience possible. Our company's residential and commercial painting services are founded on 3 core values. First, quality. We ensure the use of premium paints, high-quality finishes, and proven painting methods. Second, professionalism. We are committed to professional and responsive painting services. We coordinate and plan projects around your schedule and will treat your property with the utmost respect. And lastly, customer service. Your satisfaction is our #1 priority. So before laying a single brushstroke, we will make sure that we understand your vision for your home or office, and we'll do all that we can to paint that vision into reality. We strive to complete every project to your specifications, and we ensure professional, accountable, and reliable service from the first brushstroke to the last. So the next time that you need your home or business painted, give us a call for your free estimate at 713-829-1581.
Hey, welcome back to Biz Talk TV here on NowMedia Television. I'm your business host and guide, Michael Rager, and we got a new guest today, our productivity expert, Clara Capano. Clara, how are you today?
I'm doing fantastic, Michael. Thank you so much for having me on the show.
Well, you're fantastic because you're sitting on the beach. You're not in Costa Rica. What's going on down there?
I am. I brought my son and some of his friends down here for their high school graduation trip. So things aren't too bad in Costa Rica.
That's a pretty awesome mom. I wish mine would have done that.
I am an awesome mom.
Well, let's talk about this. We're talking about productivity, and here you are. You're on vacation. You're away. You're here doing the TV show. How do we, maintain productivity when we're doing summer activities like vacations?
I love to really talk about the idea of a harmony over balance. And how do you find that harmony between your work and your life? And, you have to get clear on the way that it's going to work for you. I'm a big proponent on finding success on your terms. So one of the biggest things you have to do is understand how you work best. So for me, I tend to be more productive in the morning. So I tend to front load my days and do a lot of my higher brain activities earlier in the morning. Even while I'm here, I still get up at 5 a.m. I do my workouts, I do my mindset work, and I get into my days so I can have these items done and then go enjoy time with my family down by the pool and not have to worry about things for the rest of the day. And that allows me to, again, find that harmony and make sure that I'm there for myself, for my clients, as well as there for the fun times in my life.
Oh, nice. So I know me is I'm not productive. I got to be productive like first thing in the morning. If I'm going to go to the gym, I'm going to do that. I got to do it first thing. But let's talk about scheduling. I know as a business coach, I get with a lot of my clients and say, hey, we got to schedule our day, get better to get productive. How do you recommend people look at scheduling their days? Do we break the day into really small chunks? Do we break it up into bigger chunks? How have you seen it work best for some of your clients?
That's such a great question. And I find that so many people, especially entrepreneurs, they tend to hold back from a schedule and time blocking because they want that freedom. But what we need to understand is that a schedule is not restrictive. A schedule actually brings us freedom because the things that get scheduled get done. So one of the things I really try to teach people is when they put their schedule together is the first thing you want to do is you want to put in your life. And those items become appointments. The reason that most people don't have a life is because they don't schedule their life. Then the second thing you want to do is get clear on what are my hours of operation this week. Do I have 15 hours to dedicate towards work, or is it a normal week where maybe I have 40 hours a week? And then you want to, again, adjust those. And then one of my best keys for staying productive in that time, because the reality is, it's not about the hours we work. It's about how we use those hours. So I have something that I call bubble time. And what I have found from studying productivity and also how the brain works is I know that the brain works at its optimal level in 45 to 50-minute increments. So what I do is I break things into an hour. And I'm just going to use 9 a.m. to 10 a.m. as an example. What I do is from 9 to 9:45 is I work. I turn off all distractions and I focus on whatever it is I need to focus on for that moment. It could be planning, it could be working on projects, writing, or even speaking to a client or teaching a class. But I block out all distractions. Then at 9:45, I step out of my bubble and I check my voicemails, my emails, and address anything that needs to be addressed. This allows me to get really hyper focused in short spurts. Now, going back to identifying success on your terms, you have to find what works best for you. I have several people where it's 20-minute increments or, 50-minute increments. So again, finding that things, but you can get a lot done when you have those tight bubbles of focus.
Yeah, one of the things I know is, I think I learned this from Brendan Burchard, that if we get distracted and we're doing something, it can take us 15 to 20 minutes to get back in that zone. So, I think one of the most important things we've got to do is turn off those distractions, because we got those distractions in our life everywhere. How do you tell people that they rely on their phone? We got so many people right now, oh my God, my phone's my life. How do I convince them that they got to turn that darn thing off so they can get more done?
It's a mindset shift, and technology is amazing. I mean, we're using technology now and it's fantastic. But in this day and age where we can be so connected, it can also cause us to be disconnected. And I come back to my goal is to serve, and it's to add so much value. And so if I am here with you right now, delivering value to your audience, if I was having my phone on or having all these other alerts come in, I would not be giving you and your audience my full attention and therefore not serving at the highest level possible. So you have to think about, you need to be present because quite frankly, multitasking does not work. And so many times people come to me and they jokingly say, when I ask them, what's the number one thing I can help you with? They say, oh, if you could get me back an extra couple of hours a day. Well, the reality is I can't, because you're absolutely right. We are losing about 2 to 3 hours a day in distractions. So you have to bring it back to what is your real job? And when you focus and hyper focus on one thing at a time, you're going to deliver a higher quality of work by being present.
You know, that multitasking doesn't work is one of the two things that I like to push at, one of the two, because I think that's so appropriate. People think they're more productive when they're trying to do multiple things. And my other one, my other pet peeve is multiple strings of income. I tell people, I say, you're not even good at one damn thing, let alone
Yeah,
trying
you got
to
to stay
12.
in your lane. Again, be an expert.
Exactly.
And it's even Robin Sharma. It's better to be world class at one thing than mediocre at many.
Yeah, so let's start talking about productivity. We're here in this summer, and it's hot. And things are going. I know. I walk outside, and I just like energy drains out. How do we stay productive when we've got external things coming in on us and beating in on us? How do we stay productive then?
Absolutely. And again, this is all through the year because sometimes in certain areas it's freezing in the winter and when it's darker outside. So a couple things that I encourage is one, as silly as it sounds, you have to stay hydrated. So always having water nearby because our bodies do become depleted, especially even as I'm here talking. I'm excited and I'm expending more energy. So one, keep yourself hydrated. The other thing is take breaks. So many people try to power through the day. They eat lunch at their desks and they're just there. Your body, your brain is not designed to work without breaks. So take breaks, get up, walk away, turn off the noise, take a nap. But you've got to do those two things to keep your body, your mind, your spirit fresh and energized.
Yeah, that's so true. Is just getting back and getting to where you need to go and staying on focus. Because it is. If people really think that it's hard to get back on focus, but if you're taking breaks on purpose versus distractions, how's that different?
They come together so quickly. When you're in your bubble time, you're focused and you're doing the work. But remember, when you come out of the bubble time, that's where you're taking a break. So going back to the schedule, again, scheduling breaks. So for me, I might work for 3 hours and I'll use that first 3 hours with my bubble time. But then I'll take a 45-minute or a 30-minute true break to re-energize, step away, again, turn my brain off from the noise. When I am home, I am not ashamed to say that when I am not on the road, I take a nap almost every day. And my sweet spot is about a 45-minute nap because, again, it just is something I can do to quiet my brain. So I think, when you're in the focus time, you are working, but a break is really when you are turning off your brain. Because remember, our brain is a muscle. And if we want it to perform, we've got to allow it to rest.
So how do we look at now? So, you said your kids are older now. My son's only 12. I'm a recently divorced dad and doing things. And so I got to pay attention. How do we give the attention, besides scheduling to our kids during this summer? Because they're going to be there. This is the one time we get them, for long periods of time. How do we add our family into the schedule, and what's some of the best ways to do that?
I will tell you, I use bubble time. I'm a single mom, and I became a single mom when my son was about 2 years old, and running my business, it was key. And what I found is it comes back to, again, time. It's about the quality of time, not always the number of hours that you spend. Right. So I used bubble time with my son from the time that he was 2 years old. If we went to the park, we would go to the park for about an hour. And for 45 minutes, I would turn off all of the things. I would not answer my phone. I was in mom mode. Whether we were playing, whether we were watching cartoons, whatever it is, I was present. Then at the 45-minute mark, I would say, oh, let me go and get a snack. And that's when I would check in with my voicemails and my emails. What I have found is our family, our friends, our kids can forgive some of the other ones, But when we commit to being there and being present with them, we need to be present. So again, blocking them, share your schedule with them. Again, when Nicholas got to be about 8 years old, I would share my schedule and say, this is when I'm working. This is when I'm going to be here with you. As a speaker, I'm on the road about 30 weeks out of the year. I still had designated FaceTime with my son to do homework with him every day that I was on the road. So you have to make them and show them that they are a priority. And when you show up for them, you need to be there undistracted for them.
Awesome, awesome. I love it. One last thing I want to get into. Do you recommend using alarms or stuff like that, setting these timers to keep us on track?
I do. And the reason I say that is sometimes I can get so hyper-focused and also very excited about what I'm doing that I can then start to creep in to, 60 minutes, 75 minutes. And then what I'll find is that will affect me in the afternoon because I will be more tired and less productive in the afternoon. So I think it is important to set those timers. So again, that you are always making sure that you're operating in that optimal level. And also again, setting expectations. So if I am with a client, letting them know, okay, we have 45 minutes today, or we have an hour together today. So making it clear to the others so that we can all work together and make sure we are purposeful in the time that we have together.
Well, yeah, I think that's really important. You want to, especially when you're dealing with clients and you're doing this stuff, is to let them know this is the amount of time we have, because a lot of them will go ahead and take as much of your time as they possibly can. And especially if you're good, I don't blame them for that. But we got to keep them on task. I mean, this has been some really great stuff for our first session. I can't wait to see what starts coming after that. Especially when you get out of vacation mode, you can actually.
I know.
I'm telling you. So, how do people get a hold of you if they want to work with you? What's the process to make that happen?
Yeah, the best way is to really just reach out to me on my website, which is just claracapano.com. And my email is just clara@claracapano.com. I'm always open to a conversation. Again, I just want to be here to serve. And my goal is to impact 1 million lives or more this year. So again, they can always reach out and set up a quick clarity call with me.
Well, that just sounds awesome. So what are some of the key things you're going to hit while you're in Costa Rica? So you're there. I'm sure you got some activities. What are you going to do?
Yeah, so today we have paddle boarding that we're going to be doing this afternoon. I know we're going to be doing some zip lining. And other than that, again, just having fun. And I was having a blast just watching my kiddo and his friends, swimming around in the pool yesterday and just laughing. So just getting some downtime.
I love it. It's one of the great places. I love one of my favorite things about there is they don't let vendors and stuff on the beaches. Oh. And it's so quiet. You just go out there and it's awesome. Well, Clara, man, this has been awesome. I'm so glad you're on this show. I can't wait to learn more from you. I got a whole bunch of notes that you couldn't see me taking because I knew I have got the attention span of a gnat. So I've got to stay on focus to make sure things that work for me. So thanks a lot, Clara. We're looking forward to seeing you on some future episodes.
Thanks, Michael.
All right. This is Michael Rager, your business guide and host here on NowMedia Television. We're going to be back with more right after this.
Stop and think. How often do you take the time to set goals? And when you set those goals, how often do you hit them? The problem is the word goal setting. We all have goals, but goals are just wishes. Goals are what we want. What we really need is called result setting. My name is Katrin Becker, and what I do is create tailor-made result plans that ensure people will hit their targets. If you are committed for real results, let's chat and see which program is right for you and your team. Goals are just what we want, but together, results are what we will achieve.
Hey, are you a small business owner that's struggling to double or triple your revenue and profits? My name is Michael Rager. I'm your business guide with Teach Your Business to Fish. Our success operating system will help you double or triple your profits every 2 to 3 years while actually maintaining some semblance of a home life. Call us at 713-201-5559 and we'll help you become a real success.
COVID-19 transformed the way we do business. Now more than ever, fast lead generation and customer retention will determine if a business survives or not. The NowMedia Video Business Card is designed to be sent using your smartphone. It's the next generation business card that will open the door for you while keeping social distancing. The NowMedia Video Business Card is affordable for anyone from startups to multinational companies and is already being used by hundreds of businesses. Stay open, stay in business. Call us today.
Hey, welcome back to Biz Talk TV. I'm your host and business guide, Michael Rager, and that's time for my good friend, Katrin Becker. Katrin, how are you today?
I'm great, Michael. Great to be here.
As I missed you. It's been a while since we chatted. What, a couple weeks?
I know. The whole 4th of July kind of threw things off, but I'm glad to be back on.
I'm still trying to recover my month. 4th of July is just like messed everything up, especially falling in the middle of the week. It puts stuff there, and that's the way it was, and that's what happens when we do it. Whoever makes holidays, they need to put them on the weekend. It's all going to be on the weekend.
I agree. Fridays or Mondays, and actually preferably only Fridays.
Yeah, there we go. Then we get a nice, really long weekend, and move into good time. So we're going to talk about something interesting today. We're talking about conscious competence. Man, this is something we don't think about all the time, do we?
We don't, which is why I wanted to bring it up today.
So tell me a little bit about how, what conscious competence is, because, unless we really bring it up, I know there's some really good analogies to highlight that idea. Tell me how you share this with your clients when you start explaining what this concept means.
Well, it's really important. And, through all of our conversations, we've talked about how we can help business owners with their employees and help to optimize them to get the most out of their employees. And so without looking at the conscious competence scale, it makes things a little bit tricky. So I thought this would be a really good opportunity to bring this up. And if someone is unaware of this scale, it can really help them in their business. And maybe you've heard about it before and you're not currently utilizing it. So this is a great place to do it. Basically, there are 4 levels to it. So the first level is unconscious incompetence. So this means they don't know what they don't know. This is ignorance is bliss level. So think of it, we're going to use the term a car analogy, driving a car, as we go through all 4 levels. So this is where, you've got maybe like a toddler in the back seat and they see you doing this and they think this is all that's required to drive a car because they are incompetent. They don't know what they don't know when it comes to this level. This is a really tricky level when you have employees that are in the unconscious incompetence because they are not coachable at this point because they don't realize that they need a skill. So they have no motivation to get better at this skill. So when you can identify people are at this place, there are some really great strategies that you can employ to help them want to get to the next level. So the next level is conscious incompetence. This means you know that you need to do something, but you have no idea how to do it. So this can be an area where it's pretty tricky in terms of confidence, because when you are unconsciously incompetent, you have more confidence. Then you realize, oh my gosh, I have no idea how to do this. I don't know where to get started. And it can really tank your confidence. So there's a place where morale can really sink within your organization. So it's important to kind of monitor where that level is. But this is the person that's motivated if given the right levers and the right support to really improve and want to get to the next level. So if we go back to our car analogy, this would be someone who maybe has never driven a stick before. They get in a manual transmission car and they're like, oh my gosh, there's like gearboxes. I have no idea how to do this, even though they generally know how to drive a car. So then the third level is now conscious competence. This is the person that has learned that skill that they did not have. It is something that they can do, but they have to think about it. So this, if we take this into the car example, this is someone who is maybe like 16 or 17 years old. They've just gotten their license. It hasn't become a habit yet on how to drive a car. They have to really think about it and really go through the steps in their mind when they're going through this. But they have done the work to get to this skill level. And why it's really important to identify this level within your organization is because this is the level that is the right level to teach the level below it. So when we think of level 2, which is the conscious incompetence, they are wanting to build that skill. So the person who's at level 3 is just right above them. Then we go to level 4, which is...
Before you go to the next one? Let me interject there, if you don't mind.
Not at all.
I trained with Maxwell and done all that, and there's a lot of business owners when they're there, they don't like to give stuff away, right? If I don't do it, everybody's going to get it wrong. We hear that all the time. And one of the things John used to say is, once somebody can do something 70% as good as you, give it away. How do you think that brings into that level right there? Because I want to go to the next level, because the next level is really important. But I think what you just said about having that person train, that's really interesting and really motivating. Why do you think that's so important there?
It's because it's still fresh in their mind. They still are thinking through all of the steps that they are going through. We talked a little while ago about the peanut butter and jelly sandwich example. So they just learned how to put together their peanut butter and jelly sandwich. So it's really fresh in their mind on how to train the next person on how to do it. So even though they have the skills, it takes a lot of thought and a lot of effort for them to do it. So I think it really does align and apply well with what you were mentioning with John Maxwell, in that they know that information and they have that 70%. They could pass that off and go to learn a new skill. But it's really they're still in that place of practice makes progress. So there's still a lot of practicing. They're still working on the skill, even though they now know how to do it.
So, one of the things that I think happens there, and one of the things I've seen, is people start twisting then. They start adding to it and trying to make it better. As now all of a sudden I'm competent and I'm very conscious about my competence. And, before we go into unconscious confidence, the things next, we start going there. It's very interesting. This is where we make the peanut butter and jelly sandwich better, right? And like my dad used to put cheese on his peanut butter and jelly sandwich. I thought that was gross, but my brother put potato chips on his. I mean, this is where we start getting creative, isn't it? Isn't this the start of creativity within our people?
Absolutely, you've nailed it. So level 4 is the unconscious competence. This means you have muscle memory. You are not thinking consciously about what it is that you're doing. Most of us now, we get in the car and we just drive. Like, we have to maybe think about where we're going if it's someplace new, but you don't have to think so much about how to drive the car. Like, you don't have to think about how to change lanes. Like, how to put on your indicator, how to scan your mirrors, how to make sure it's safe to go, and then you just go. Like, it's why you can have a conversation in a car with someone else there, because you're not using that same level of awareness to operate the car. Or like tying a shoe, you just do it. You don't even think about it. And so it's a tricky place, because when you have someone who is at this level, which is a level of mastery, there's 2 ways they can go. They either go into the creativity innovation, like you mentioned, where they know it so well that they feel comfortable to experiment and to go to the next level. Or what happens is they can become so confident that they go into complacency, that their skills start to erode a little bit because it's not something that they have to think about. The other point that I want to make sure that the viewers take note of is it's kind of makes common sense or seems logical to have the person who's at unconscious competence at level 4 at the mastery level teach the people who are at level 2 or even level 1 where they are incompetent, whether consciously or unconsciously. However, a level 4 person is not the right person to make those sort of training, because they don't know how they do it. They don't know how to go back and actually think through all of the steps in a way that's effective to train someone who's just learning. So it's a really common mistake that people can make, and then it's going to lead to ineffective training. It's going to lead to lower morale, because it's so easy for them at level 4, and the person who's struggling so much at level 2, they already are having a crisis of confidence. It just makes it worse.
Well, it's funny. There's an old story about, baseball fans will know it, is Ted Williams, probably the greatest hitter, kind of ever. They tried to make him a batting coach as he retired, and he was such a great hitter because his eyes were so good that he could actually see the spin on the ball. And so he's trying to tell people, the spin of the ball, and other people's eyes weren't that good, and he was just so good at it because of that part of his body was so good that made him such a good hand-eye coordination, that he couldn't teach that. And I think that's where we get with some of these people, don't we?
Absolutely. They don't. So they've either become a master because of other factors like that. We can also take, more modern example of like Michael Phelps in swimming. He is such a great swimmer. Yes, he practiced really hard, but he's got freakishly long arms and hands and, all of these other factors that made him
like
so
a
great.
duck. The dude's got webbed feet. I can't teach webbed feet. It's just.
You can't teach that.
I can't teach
so
that.
It's a balance of your naturalness.
Yeah. But this lever, this is awesome, the stuff you got here. We got like 6 minutes, and we need to unpack some of this stuff. In business owners, where do we make mistakes along this level? Because I think a lot of times as business owners, we go hire somebody, we hire the new great person, and we don't realize when they're jumping into our business, they're unconsciously incompetent. Do we?
No, we don't realize it because most of us as the business owners are at level 3, level 4, right? So we are completely competent in our job, most of the time unconsciously so. So here we are not even thinking about what we're doing and being awesome at it and just hiring a new person who has no idea that they have no idea and expecting them to be great or expecting them to ask the right questions. They don't even know what questions to ask because they don't know how to do it themselves. And so that's why having a training assessment, going through a SWOT analysis, strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats is a great opportunity with new people to help them to see it themselves. Because to go from level 1 to level 2, to be aware that you don't know, is a huge step as well. And once you have that awareness, there's a lot more that you can do with it as a business owner. But you have to get them over that. And if they can't get to that point, you're either going to have to be constantly managing them or it's time to let them go.
Yeah, I think that's very important. And we've got to be able to set that stuff up. And I see it all the time with business owners. They want people that they hire to be consciously competent, right? Just like that coming into the organization. And I think for sure there's some skill sets that people should be, but we still really need to have these people understand how our system works in our business and what our culture looks like. So what kind of training tools do you recommend that people, put together to make this happen and move people along quickly?
Well, one of the trends that I have seen in job postings is the traditional way of job posting was to say, like, here are the duties for this job. Here are the qualifications. You need to have gone to this kind of school, have this degree, have worked this long in this job. But that's really changing and transitioning. And I'm seeing a lot more job postings that are talking more about intrinsic skills of the ideal candidate, where they're looking more towards like, what kind of person are they, and that really lends itself to, are they going to be able to learn what they don't know, and what is the attitude they're going to have along that learning path. And that's really going to be a key to success, because you're going to have a lot more ability to kind of cross that hump from conscious incompetence into conscious competence, because they're not going to know everything. It's just not a realistic expectation.
Yeah, no, I totally agree with you. We talked a little bit about that last night at Whiteboards and Whiskey, because I think the hiring process is so awful in this country right now, because so many people have learned how to write resumes, they've learned how to interview. We don't know what they know, and they don't know, and people hire so awfully. And I'm not going to mention some of the companies because I want sponsorships maybe from them one day. But I just look at some of the ways we do things, and we need to be looking at this as business owners, how we do things. I still teach my business owners. I got to look for attitude. Attitude is number one. I can't teach you a good attitude. I can teach you the skills. So we used to say we recruit for attitude, train for skills. Is that what you're seeing now in the trends?
That's definitely what I'm seeing in the trends, because if someone is more on the optimistic side of things, and that's kind of a really good sort of, binary black and white scale is, do they tend to be more optimistic or more pessimistic? Because the person who tends to be more optimistic is going to find a way. And that's really what you want in your workforce, instead of them just, kind of throwing up their hands and saying, hey, I don't know how to do this. There's no way possible. There's no way through. So that's a really good indicator. And you can find a few metrics like that that's going to support your culture. And so it goes back to what we've talked many times, coming back to culture, is understanding what that culture is and naming it. What are those key attributes of the people who comprise your culture? And, how do you hire for that? What are the questions you can ask to ascertain that in an interview? And it's going to be different than the rote list of questions that we're all used to, that people can get really good at answering and lead to those bad hires, as you mentioned.
Yeah, that's awesome. I think it's, we teach that culture can eat talent for lunch. So we got to have a good thing. So, okay, we got to wrap up here in a little bit. Kat, how do people get a hold of you?
The best way is through my website, which is www.optimizewe.com, where we talk about moving you from a me culture to a we culture. How can we look at all of the different aspects of your people throughout your organization, and how can we optimize them to be at their very best?
Well, that's awesome, Kat. I love it. I love it. I can't wait to the next segment. We got to, just keep wowing them. It's about, I'm telling you, the ladies, you guys are rocking it today. This is a really good show. It's not even me. It's just you guys. You just keep talking and just making us look good. So, Kat,
I was going to mention that. I love the ladies in this. Great.
Well, thank you, Kat. We'll see you next time. I'm Michael Rager, your business guide here on NowMedia Television and Biz Talk TV. We'll be back with more right after this.
Stop and think. How often do you take the time to set goals? And when you set those goals, how often do you hit them? The problem is the word goal setting. We all have goals, but goals are just wishes. Goals are what we want. What we really need is called result setting. My name is Katrin Becker, and what I do is create tailor-made result plans that ensure people will hit their targets. If you are committed for real results, let's chat and see which program is right for you and your team. Goals are just what we want, but together, results are what we will achieve.
Hey, are you a small business owner that's struggling to double or triple your revenue and profits? My name is Michael Rager. I'm your business guide with Teach Your Business to Fish. Our success operating system will help you double or triple your profits every 2 to 3 years while actually maintaining some semblance of a home life. Call us at 713-201-5559 and we'll help you become a real success.
COVID-19 transformed the way we do business. Now more than ever, fast lead generation and customer retention will determine if a business survives or not. The NowMedia Video Business Card is designed to be sent using your smartphone. It's the next generation business card that will open the door for you while keeping social distancing. The NowMedia Video Business Card is affordable for anyone from startups to multinational companies and is already being used by hundreds of businesses. Stay open, stay in business. Call us today.
Hey, welcome back to Biz Talk TV. I'm your business host and guide, Michael Rager. And as you can see over my shoulder right here, it's that time, purple politics. So that must mean Alina Gonzalez. Alina, how are you today?
I am fabulous. Thank you, Mike. How are you doing this beautiful July day?
I'm inside, so it's good. We're not roasting for sure. Now, we were talking before we came on camera. July is your favorite month. Why is July your favorite month?
Well, it is our nation's birth month, so I love celebrating the 4th of July and the amazing opportunities that our founding founders had embedded and created. I mean, we are a nation that was created not from an empire, not for power, but literally an ideal. And we continue to foster that ideal and grow forward. So I love that. Also because just being able to celebrate the freedoms that we enjoy. And so many people around the world do not get the freedoms that we have. And so it's always been a big deal for my family and extended family to celebrate 4th of July together. So that's why I love July.
Awesome. Yeah, it's great. If it just cooled down a little bit, I'd love it more. I miss it. I'm from Michigan, so it used to be like 4th of July was great because it was hot during the day and it cooled down at night, and it was just awesome. And so that was one of the things I like. Here in Houston, it just stays hot.
Okay, I'm in Florida, so saying something cool, I'm like, wait a minute, what? That's only in wintertime for us.
Where'd that come from? Well, let's talk about a little bit the growth of independent voters. I mean, things are changing right now because of labels. We're seeing this. What are you seeing, and why do you think that's happening?
Well, it's interesting in that 2/5 of Americans have labeled themselves as independent, whether it's non-party affiliation or the actual I. And there's actually a distinction that most people don't understand, that being independent just means that you don't wish to affiliate with the Democrat or Republican Party. However, being a moderate, a true centrist, that's more an ideology, like being liberal, progressive, conservative, and so on. So if you look at history, during the Reagan years, registered independents, Republicans, and Democrats were all about equal, a third, a third, a third. Then there was a small surge during the Clinton era. It faded in the Bush terms, and then it surged again in 2009. And today, I mean, we're looking at, for just Gen Xers, 44% of registered voters that are Gen X are independent or non-party affiliated. And most of that comes from just the disdain for how the normal politics or political parties are running things. So, I mean, I know for a fact that I would love to hear your history, because you have transitioned from parties, if I recall correctly.
I don't know if I really transitioned so much from parties, but I think it's ideologies that were put together where I was raised. You know, I grew up in Detroit. Detroit itself is very democratic because it's very unionized. You know, so the union has a lot to do with it, and everybody in my family was in a union for some way, shape, or other. Now I'm down here in Texas, and they're crazy. I mean, we get very, very right, very, very right down here, the people that I know. So it's really funny, because when I go back home and I talk to friends, I'm seen as very conservative because I'm very conservative business-wide, but I'm still very liberal on personal stuff, environmental issues like that. And here it's not the same. Do you see the same thing in Florida? Because you got so much migration of people from the north to the south. How do you see it in your neck of the woods?
Well, I will say that if you even look at our last gubernatorial race in 2022, DeSantis did something that was unheard of on any scale, whether it was Jeb Bush, Charlie Crist when he was a Republican governor, and even Rick Scott, and I won't get into my opinions on him. However, we do have a sense of a more conservative leanings, and I think that has affected how we are polling or just going to the voter registrations, because though people are more likely to register as an independent or non-party affiliation, the reality is most independents still vote along a party line, even though they claim that they don't. I think it's more the freedom, like they don't want to be labeled. But when you look at a true moderate independent, which that is 5% of our voters nationwide, that is a big, strong, small group, because especially as close and tight as our elections have been recently, they are the swing. And those moderate independents are the ones who are truly looking at what the policies are, not the person, not whether they're an influencer or who their family was. It is truly aligning themselves with what they feel is right for this country. And many of the people, and we're looking at millennials and Gen Xers are the bulk of the independent right now. Gen Zs, as they're getting ready to enroll in our voter registrations, they're also more leaning towards non-party affiliation. It's more because of this just vitriolic way that politics has degraded to. And there's just a disillusionment that the two main parties are not representative of the whole of the United States. And when you're seeing that at polls, 44% of the people are not happy with the way that the two-party system is and wish that there were more parties, I'm waiting for that day that someone is able to create that strong third party. And if the independents were to join, they would be a serious power and would upend much of the Democratic and Republican strongholds.
Well, I think it's some of the things you said. I want to kind of unpack it a little bit and go there. I think one of the things you talked about was the way that we're seeing in getting sound bites. It was really funny this morning when I was showering. I was listening to an old Johnny Carson, and Johnny was actually interviewing Ronald Reagan. And it's the one that was taken about when Johnny asked, well, what do we need from government? And Ronald says, well, the one thing that'll make us better is we need less government. And people like jump on that all the time, but they never talk about the rest of the soundbite. The rest of the soundbite talks about is we as Americans need to step up and understand what we can do and how we can do it, because if we actually step up and do what we do and are actually successful at what we do, we don't need government. Mm-hmm. So how do you see those types of soundbites influencing it and pushing people?
Well, there is so much truth. I mean, if you recall, the Reagan Republican, and it's unbelievable that, you know, that seems to be a foregone era, but the traditional Republican was always about less government, more personal autonomy, more rights to the states, because we the people have more controls of how our local governments and state governments are run. However, if you look at today, I mean, even under Republican-controlled White House and Congress, the power of the federal government had increased. Mm-hmm. So to say that we need to get good at what we're, you know, to really focus on what we are good at and conscientiously go forward on that so that we do not have dependence on a federal government other than for the sole purpose of providing security and certain other programs, it's a great ideal. I don't know if we're going to be able to get to that without extreme changes. Even if you look at it, our politicians, our elected officials have given so much power to bureaucratic administrative agencies that are not elected. They are not under any type of checks or balance, and they are creating laws in a sense through the administrative codes and regulations that are not checked.
Yeah.
And so there's a lot to be said that there needs to be a huge kind of overhaul of how we conduct our country's business.
I think a lot of it is we need to step back and go backwards, because I think I see right now is people are not happy because now if a Republican is put into office, just for example, that their whole job is to satisfy the party. It's not satisfy the people. They forget, and I see this all the time with politicians, they forget that once they're elected, they represent everybody. And they need to take everybody's consideration into place. And this is where I know when John Maxwell was talking about one time when he was approached and being a Christian, that everybody thought would be a great thing. And he said, no, one of the people that people were not going to see if I was actually going to go do it was it wouldn't be the United Christian States of America. It's the United States of America. It's all about everything. So how do you think that I think we need to go backwards. What do you think?
Absolutely. Go back to a time where there was decorum. Go back to a time where it was collaborative, where the true focus was always how to build and help the people of this country and our country. We have lost faith in that. Yeah. I mean, I look at it and I look at our elected officials, even those that do have the idealistic, oh, I'm going to make change and stuff, they abruptly learn, and I'll just say abruptly, that if they don't toe the party line, they will be punished. If they do not do what the heads of either the DNC or the RNC, whoever the party leaders are, if they do not follow that script, they will not be funded for their next election. They will be censored. It's ridiculous at how we have lost, or not we as a people, that our governmental agents or entities have lost their way. Because we are close to an oligarchy on both sides. The
totally
reality
agree with
is there's no difference between the DNC and the RNC and the ultimate goal, and that is to have absolute control and power.
Yeah.
And that is not what the ideal was when we were created 247 years ago.
Oh, I totally agree with you. I totally agree with you. This, you've got to toe the party line. You got to do it. I mean, you saw, Cheney, she got just like lambasted. Because it's like, if you don't listen to what Trump says or you don't do what Trump says, you're wrong. And we're going to get you out. We're going to push you out. We're going to do everything. But we're also seeing a lot of politicians that, they're just soundbite politicians. They're not doing what they need to do. They're just trying to get sound bites to get reelected. It just sucks.
Oh, it is. I mean, let's put it this way. You have a Democratic Party that has AOC, who I would say is a soundbite politician. She wants to be an influencer. I do not know what she has effectively done that has been positive for her constituents. And then you have Manchin, who is a moderate Democrat. He's an old-fashioned Democrat, is what I would call it. Him, and they're still under the whole umbrella of the Democratic Party, but the Democratic Party does not have ideologically the same values as Manchin does.
Yeah. I think we see the same thing on the right. We got Breitbart and we've got Marjorie Taylor Greene. That, God, what have they done to help anybody?
I don't even know what to say. I mean, it's just like, I think it gets to a point, and especially in like states like Florida. You see, so 24 of our 50 states have open primaries. That means it does not matter how you are registered. If you're non-party affiliated, you are independent, you are able to cast a vote in the primary. Whereas 26 states only allow you to vote if you are a registered Democrat or a registered Republican, or if there happens to be non-party affiliated elections, like say local level, you're able to vote in the primaries. That's why I had to re-register as a Republican. And I did that because though I don't align completely with what is happening today in the Republican Party, I definitely aligned more when, if you looked at like Ronald Reagan era, I could not align myself with the progressive agenda.
Right.
Yeah. And I think that is something that needs to be fleshed out too. It's like, why is it that we, the vast majority of the people here in the United States, who do not agree with both of the extremists that have taken hold of the two-party system, why are we still abiding by that?
Yeah, it's only got two choices, and the one's not better than the other. So we got to wrap things up. How do people get a hold of you? How do they hear more about this? And how do you help them, just kind of learn?
Well, I am probably going to be starting entertaining politics, because that is my goal, is to make politics entertaining, but also bring out these subjects and maybe embolden the people to be, create a third party. I truly believe we need that. But as of right now, I still have Life Law Planning. That is my law firm, and they can reach me at alina@lifelawplanning.com.
Well, Alina, this is great. I love this conversation. I wish we could say some of the things we say off camera. Maybe a little bit more R-rated as we talk about some of these people and how they do what they do. But, it's always a good time.
I always try to, I do try, especially when we talk like in this venue, to be positive. And, but yeah, when I get to my soapbox, which we'll be delving into some of those topics, especially about what's happening to women today and the erasing of the biological woman. And that is apparently a very, obviously hot topic, but it's something that I truly believe in.
Yeah,
because it's not just sports. It's not just, whether it's a sorority house or something like that. It literally is erasing the woman.
Yeah, it was going to be interesting to hear about that.
I try to keep it clean at least
here. They're making me go. So, all right, Alina, we're going to talk to you next week. It's going to be fun. I can't wait to get there. I'm Michael Rager, your business guide here on Now Television and Biz Talk TV. We'll be back with more right after this.
Hey, Lily says AT&T is giving everyone their best deals.
Minus the air quotes.
Best deals.
No need to wink. Others say they give everyone a deal, but not everyone gets the best deal.
Told you, the best deals are for everyone here, with a choice of plans.
You were right.
Is she always right?
Always.
At AT&T, we give everyone our best deals on every smartphone.
As a home or business owner, it can be tough to find a painting company that you can rely on. Look no further. Hi, I'm Courtney Hughes, owner of 360 Painting West Houston, your go-to painting company for residential and commercial needs. 360 Painting's mission is simple. We want to provide you with the highest quality finish and the best painting experience possible. Our company's residential and commercial painting services are founded on 3 core values. First, quality. We ensure the use of premium paints, high quality finishes, and proven painting methods. Second, professionalism. We are committed to professional and responsive painting services. We coordinate and plan projects around your schedule and will treat your property with the utmost respect. And lastly, customer service. Your satisfaction is our #1 priority. So before laying a single brushstroke, we will make sure that we understand your vision for your home or office, and we'll do all that we can to paint that vision into reality. We strive to complete every project to your specifications, and we ensure professional, accountable, and reliable service from the first brushstroke to the last. So the next time that you need your home or business painted, give us a call for your free estimate at 713-829-1581.
Hey, what a great show today. I'm telling you, the ladies rocked it. This was like an all-ladies show. I just sat here and just asked questions, and they just dropped brilliance on you. So I'm telling you, we learned from a new guest today, Clara, productivity, how to be productive, those bubbles. Love it, love it, love it. Katrin came on, talked a little bit about conscious competence. We've got to be conscious on what we're doing and how that can affect our business. And then again, Alina, we started talking about purple politics and how the right and left, they're kind of going off whack. That's what it's about. So I'm Michael Rager. I really hope you enjoyed today. And join us next time here on Biz Talk TV, here on NowMedia Television. We'll see you soon.
This has been a NowMedia Television feature presentation. All rights reserved.
Stop and think. How often do you take the time to set goals? And when you set those goals, how often do you hit them? The problem is the word goal setting. We all have goals, but goals are just wishes. Goals are what we want. What we really need is called result setting. My name is Katrin Becker, and what I do is create tailor-made result plans that ensure people will hit their targets. If you are committed for real results, let's chat and see which program is right for you and your team. Goals are just what we want, but together, results are what we will achieve.
Hey, are you a small business owner that's struggling to double or triple your revenue and profits? My name is Michael Rager. I'm your business guide with Teach Your Business to Fish. Our success operating system will help you double or triple your profits every 2 to 3 years while actually maintaining some semblance of a home life. Call us at 713-201-5559 and we'll help you become a real success.
COVID-19 transformed the way we do business. Now more than ever, fast lead generation and customer retention will determine if a business survives or not. The NowMedia Video Business Card is designed to be sent using your smartphone. It's the next generation business card that will open the door for you while keeping social distancing. The NowMedia Video Business Card is affordable for anyone from startups to multinational companies and is already being used by hundreds of businesses. Stay open, stay in business. Call us today.
Hello, my name is Charles Sanders, and I'm a personal injury attorney with the Rose Sanders Law Firm, based in Texas and with offices in Houston, Dallas, McAllen, and El Paso. We assist individuals throughout the entire state who have suffered harm due to the negligence of another person.